The upcoming Arrowverse crossover, Crisis on Infinite Earths, is an adaptation of a comic book storyline of the same name, in which basically every single superhero from the DC Universe at the time appeared in that crossover, so I think it's safe to assume that a lot of the Arrowverse superheroes will be appearing in the crossover as well. Obviously, it's not practical to go with every single superhero, as there are way too many to use, and that will be way too expensive. It's much easier doing a comic book where it's really just people drawing things, and instead of a show where they have the actors as well as a lot of things about the character that cost a lot of money. So it's not practical to have every single character, but I think that it's likely that a lot of them will be appearing. So in this video, I'm going to be going over every single superhero from the Arrowverse and basically going over how I think the likelihood is for them to appear. I'll start with the characters who are least likely and then end up with the characters that are the most likely, basically have a 100% chance of appearing, counting the characters who are already been confirmed. So with that in mind, let's start with characters who have basically no chance of appearing in the crossover. So basically, all these characters I'll go over now have around 5% until I mention that there is a little bit higher of a chance. So first of all, let's go over the characters who I think have absolutely no chance of appearing in the crossover, and that's really just Zari Tomaz, considering Legend of Tomorrow's episode in the Crisis will be its first episode of the season, and the episode before that one, Zari was erased from existence, and the Zari in the future will be a different character. I really think there's no chance whatsoever that Zari will be appearing in the crossover, so that's the only character. Moving on to the characters who I think will almost definitely not appear, but there is still at least a small chance. These are the characters who I think there's between a 5 and 10% chance of them appearing. There's Charles McKnight, Henry Haywood, and Rex Tyler, the deceased members of the JSA. There's also the still alive members, Maya Jiwa, Obsidian, and Stargirl. I highly doubt any of those characters are going to be appearing. There's Booster Gold and his son from the comics, Rip Hunter. Booster Gold has yet to appear or even been mentioned, but considering Rip Hunter exists, I think we can safely assume that he exists as well. Those two characters are almost definitely not going to be appearing, but it would be really cool to see Booster Gold. Rip Hunter is dead, but there is obviously time travel there, so that wouldn't stop him, but I highly doubt he's going to be appearing. The Legion of Superheroes members that are either Mon-El, Brainiac 5, or Saturn Girl, which is right now Chameleon, Lightning Lass, Lightning Lad, and Dreamer, as well as Karate Kid. That's what we can assume, as well as two other members. They're almost definitely not going to be appearing, but again, it would be cool. We saw Dr. Fate's helmet on Constantine, and we haven't seen anything from the character since, or we haven't seen the character at all, but I also think, although it would be awesome, he's almost definitely not going to be appearing. Also from Constantine, another character who is a DC character, and a very prominent one at that, is Jim Corrigan, who was in the process of becoming the Spectre. I highly doubt he is going to be appearing in the Crisis, but it would be so cool. Along with Dr. Fate, it would be just so cool. Another character would be really cool to see debut is Ted Kord, who has been mentioned a lot or has been mentioned once on Arrow, but Kord Industries has been mentioned a lot on both Arrow and The Flash. I don't think he's going to be appearing, but again, there is at least a small chance that Blue Beetle will be debuting in the Crisis. Another Ted from Arrow is Ted Grant, aka Wildcat, who we haven't seen since season 3, where he just disappeared out of nowhere, and I highly doubt he's going to be appearing. There's also Slade Wilson, aka Deathstroke, who, again, it would be awesome to see him appear in this crossover, but considering he had kind of a farewell in the beginning of season 6, and we haven't seen him since, and also DC isn't really allowing the Arrowverse to use Slade Wilson, I highly doubt he's going to be appearing. Finally, there's Helen of Troy, as well as Bruce Wayne, there is at least a small chance of him appearing. The showrunners behind Batwoman said that there is a chance that Batman will be appearing in season 1 of Batwoman, but it's highly unlikely, and I think the same thing is true for the Crisis. There is a chance at this point, but it's very, very unlikely. So moving on to the probably not characters, between a 20 and 30% chance of appearing. We have Jonah Hex. Again, some time travel can bring him in, but I really doubt he's going to be appearing. Lauren Haley, who is a series regular on Supergirl. I should mention I'm including not only superheroes, but also series regulars who aren't villains. So Lauren Haley, I highly doubt she's going to be appearing. She really wouldn't fit at all. Then there's Jenny Knight, as well as John Trujillo from Freedom Fighters. The two Freedom Fighters members who are still alive but haven't appeared at all in live action. I think there's a much smaller chance of them appearing compared compared to the characters who have appeared in live action. Then there's Eve Tessmacher, another series regular on Supergirl who really wouldn't fit at all. As well, the same exact thing goes for Kelly Olsen. There's Hawkman and Hawkgirl, who I think it would be cool to see them return, even though I really don't like them. Maybe just to reinvent them, maybe to give them another chance, maybe alternate versions of them, maybe they can be better, but I also think not a very high chance. Solovar from Earth 2, Katana, aka Tatsu Yamashiro, and Miss Martian, all very low chance of appearing. Finally, there's James Olsen, aka Guardian, who I don't really know what to put him here, because it's confirmed that he is leaving Supergirl in Season 5 in the first half, but whether that means in the last episode of Season 5, which would be after the crisis or before the crisis, I do not know. Or maybe he's going to die in the crisis or something, which is very possible, honestly. But honestly, I would say that as of right now, considering he's leaving Supergirl in Season 5, I would say it's more likely that he is not going to be appearing in the crossover, but still, there is some chance, so I would say like a 30% chance for him, so he's going to be put in probably not. So then we have the maybe characters, anything between 35 and 45% chance of appearing. I would say I wouldn't bet on them not appearing. There's definitely a fairly high chance of them appearing, but also I think it's more likely that they won't be. Characters like Red Tornado from Earth X, as well as Helena Bertinelli, also known as the Huntress, who we haven't seen since Season 2. We haven't seen Helena since Season 2 at least, and I highly doubt she's going to be appearing, but it's definitely possible that she will. Fiat Queen, aka Speedy, I really want to return in Season 8 of Arrow, but I think it's possible that she won't. There's Kuwaze as well as Mari McCabe, the two vixens of the Arrowverse. Their whole thing is very confusing. I don't really know how it's going to fit at all in terms of the timeline, but I guess we will have to wait and see. And if they're going to appear, I highly doubt they will, but it's definitely possible that they will. I think Mari has a higher chance of appearing considering of her ties to Arrow, and not just Kuwaze, who is just really Legend of Tomorrow. But then there's another two characters who are very connected, Nissa Al Ghul and Talia Al Ghul, as well as all of the Flash Forwards characters, who it's a tricky situation because it's actually confirmed that Oliver is going to meet a future version of Mia, meaning he's probably going to go to the future, so it's possible that they're setting up some crossover between the Flash Forwards and the present day, so they might be appearing in the present day, similar maybe to the Legion of Superheroes. So I would say Zoe Ramirez, John Diggle Jr., Connor Hawke, William Clayton, and Mia Smoke all have at least a little bit chance, maybe like 45% chance of appearing in Crisis on Infinite Earths. Do I want them to appear? Probably not, but I think they might. Moving on to the probably characters, anything between 50 and 65. There aren't a lot of characters here, but there is certainly more than in Definitely Not. But then there's King Shark, aka Shay Lambden, who was turned into a hero similarly to Bronze Tiger in the last season of The Flash. I'll get to Bronze Tiger later in this video, but I think the chances of King Shark appearing are lowered by the fact that he would be very expensive, and he probably wouldn't add a lot other than the fact that he would be really cool to see. But like story-wise, he just wouldn't add a lot. So I would say there's like maybe a 50% chance of him appearing. Alex Danvers, Rory Regan, Accelerated Man, I think they all have around a 60 to 65% chance of appearing. I would love to see Rory Regan return as Ragman, and it would be really cool for Accelerated Man to get some sort of character development or even some lines. And Alex Danvers, while I wouldn't really be ecstatic to see her appear, I definitely think that she can. Then there are the Black Lightning characters, who I think it's very possible that Black Lightning will be crossing over with the Arrowverse in this crossover. So the characters Jefferson Pierce, aka Black Lightning, Anissa Pierce, who I think is Lightning, and Jennifer Pierce, who is Thunder, or maybe it's the other way around. I think it's the other way around, actually. I think these characters probably have around a 65% chance of appearing in the crossover. So then we have the very likely characters, anybody with either a 72 or between 70 and 85% chance of appearing, in my opinion. There's Ava Sharp, who I don't really want to appear, as well as other members of the Legends, meaning Charlie and Mona Wu, as well as kind of Bera Tomaz. I don't think these guys should have very big roles, and I really don't want to see Mona at all, but I think they are very likely to appear considering the situation we're in, where Legend of Tomorrow Episode 1 will be a part of the crossover. But then there's the Legion members, Mon-El and Imra Ardeen, or Imra Ardeen, aka Saturn Girl, who I think should definitely appear. That would be really cool. I'll get to Brainiac 5 later, considering he's a much more prominent character currently. He has a higher chance of appearing, considering also he's the only one who appeared in Elseworlds. There's also the Earth X characters, Ray Terrell, aka The Ray, and Leo Snart, aka Citizen Cold. There's Luke Fox from Batwoman, who maybe at that point will be already Batwing. I highly doubt it, but I think it's very likely that he's going to be appearing. Then there are the alternate versions of Adrian Chase and Tom Merlin. We're going to be meeting in the first episode of Arrow Season 8. Considering they are from different universes, considering they are a part of Season 8 of Arrow, which is a lead up to the Crisis, I think it's very likely that they are going to return, maybe as the superheroes Vigilante and the Dark Archer, respectively. Then there's Mr. Terrific, also known as Curtis Holt, who, considering how nonchalantly he returned in the Arrow Season 8 finale, I think it's very likely he's going to be returning again for the Crisis, and there's really no reason why he wouldn't, at least story-wise. Cynthia Reynolds, also known as Gypsy, I think is very likely to return. Win Shots was confirmed to return for Season 5 of Supergirl, so I think he's probably going to appear in the crossover as well. And you also have Cecile Horton and Joe West, who probably won't have big roles in the crossover, but I do think they're going to be appearing. You also have Ben Turner, also known as Bronze Tiger, who, considering his redemption arc, turning into a hero in Season 7 of Arrow, I think is very likely to return. He is almost definitely confirmed to return in Season 8, so I think he should return for the Crisis. That would be really, really cool. Finally, you have Barry Allen from Earth 90, who we haven't heard anything from since Elseworlds, where he just was disappeared by the Monitor. I don't know where he went, but we haven't seen him since, but I think it's very likely he's going to be returning. And finally, Lila Michaels, who in the comics has a very, very big role in Crisis on Infinite Earth. She is Harbinger, which is her code name on Arrow, but that is her name in Crisis on Infinite Earth. Lila Michaels, aka Harbinger, who is the Harbinger of the Monitor. She works for him, and she is very powerful. So I think, although she might not have the same exact role in the Crisis, I think considering that, she very, very likely, or very possibly will have that role, and she will have some sort of role in the Crisis, so I think it's very likely she's going to be appearing. Then we have the almost definitely characters, the characters who have either a 90 or between 90 and 95% chance of appearing, but I would be very surprised if any of these characters did not appear in the crossover. This includes Cisco Ramon, aka, or actually not aka, he's not Vibe anymore, Quirrell Dox, also known as Brainiac 5, Nia Null, Dreamer, Jay Garrick, aka The Flash, Jesse Quick, also known as Jesse Wells, also known as Jesse Quick, Iris West, Wally West, who's actually returning in the upcoming season of The Flash. I think that's heavily due to his involvement in the upcoming crossover, as well as the fact that I really want to see him meet Roy Harper, who also is a part of the Almost Definitely Club, Nate Haywood, Mick Rory, Harrison Wells, the new one from Season 6, Donna Drake, Renee Ramirez, Caitlin Snow, Ralph Dibny, and John Constantine, all will almost definitely be appearing in the crossover. And finally, we have the characters who I think have a 100% chance of appearing. This is going to include characters who were confirmed, so also non-superheroes who were confirmed to appear in the crossover will be mentioned here as well. There is Superman and Lois Lane from Earth 38, and also their newborn child, as well as the Kingdom Come version of Superman, or a version of Superman inspired by Kingdom Come, who will be played by Brandon Routh, as well as Supergirl, who Supergirl wasn't confirmed, but I think there's a 100% chance she is going to be appearing. Pariah, a character from the comics who is going to be played by Tom Cavanagh, is going to be appearing. The Anti-Monitor and the Monitor are 100% going to be appearing as well, as the Anti-Monitor was confirmed, and I really don't think the Monitor has any chance of not appearing. So, Roger Hayden, aka Psycho Pirate, I think has a 100% chance of appearing as well, as he had a big role in the teasing of Crisis on Infinite Earths and Elseworlds, as well as he had a big role in the comic book Crisis on Infinite Earths. Batwoman, the Atom, White Canary, and Laurel Lance from Earth 2, I think all have a huge, or actually 100% chance of appearing. Laurel was actually mentioned in a recording from Barry from the Crisis, although that was an alternate timeline, and also the 2024 version of this Crisis. I think that considering how recent that happened in Season 5 of The Flash, actually near the end of the season, I think that it is very likely, or actually 100% likely, that Earth 2 Laurel will be appearing. There's also John Jones, who, considering the Monitor brought Maleficent to Earth to test John Jones for the Crisis, that I think confirms that he is going to be appearing. There's also Lex Luthor, who's confirmed to appear, Eobard Thawne, who is confirmed to appear, John Diggle, who I think has a 100% chance of appearing, and also Barry Allen, and of course, Oliver Queen. So that is over 100 characters and mostly superheroes from the Arrowverse and how likely I think they're going to be appearing. Let me know which one of these characters or which of these characters do you think are the most likely. Which of the characters we haven't seen yet, like Dr. Fate and Batman, do you want to see the most? And let me know how excited you are for this crossover. Let me know just basically all your thoughts in the comments. And if you like this video, make sure to leave a like, share, and subscribe. And thanks for watching.